Welcome back to another episode of Three Siblings Walk Into a Bar. I'm Deshae, the oldest sibling.
I'm Sage, the middle sibling.
And I'm Storm, the youngest sibling.
Yay!
We just had a full conversation of like
about
what our
how
faces
big our
look
noses
like,
are,
and we were like,
how big our chins are.
This is what happens when you get siblings together and they're insecure. Okay.
Oh,
for
we're
real.
adorable.
Mm-hmm.
The cutest.
So, fun facts. One, I got another sibling TikTok. And it was the maybe I'm the villain.
It's always
and it was like the youngest sibling, and she was like, maybe I'm the villain. And then it pans over to the middle and the oldest, and they're like,
yeah.
and then the middle one's like, no, it's not me.
Very nice.
Yes. And then
my mentor is a middle kid as well, so we bond over that.
So they get it.
Yeah,
they get it.
He gets it. Yeah.
Well, and I would also like to have you know, we were at Target today finishing up buying the rest of our stuff, and it was me and my oldest. And the girl, she was probably early 20s. She was just talking to us about like the stuff that we were buying, and then she was like, dang it, what did she say? She said something about being the youngest sibling. I don't remember how we got on the topic, but she said something about being the youngest sibling and how it was her older brother that used to pick on her all the time. She was like, no, it was never me. It was always him. And I said, yes, it's this one. He's always antagonizing, always.
Yep.
And then she was like, but then I would get in trouble because I would tattle on him. So then my mom would just tell me to get over it. And I'm like, yeah, because it's crappy because you get picked on all the time. And God forbid you say anything about it. And then you're the annoying one.
Whatever.
Anyway, so I was like, yes, girl, I feel you.
Dramatic
no, it is so
kids.
not true. It is
so
not true. No,
it is. Yes.
I would always get in trouble.
Listen, no, because you would always cut. Listen, here's a few things. You would always come in my room and be like, let me see if there's any clothes in here, like, because I need something to wear. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then if I walked into your room and was like, can I borrow some clothes? No. And then I'd be like, yeah,
whatever.
It's true.
Not how it happened.
Super nice to each other, all of us.
I don't think we were ever like, okay, well, it's like really mean to each other, like knock down,
we were like sibling
fights.
mean to each other,
yeah,
and
exactly.
picked on each other, but we weren't like.
I feel like Storm and I were the worst of it.
There was no like hatred, you know.
Right?
No. Yeah.
It was always the annoying sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't ever mean, I guess. Well,
if you hear my child,
I was about to say something.
Sorry. I can't with that youngest.
Listen, I didn't do anything. I did nothing. I was a perfect angel baby.
FOMO in the entire world.
The worst. And he's almost 2.5, so he's going through like the terrible twos have come full force now, and he's just a mess. Just a mess.
Just punch him right in the throat. That's what I do with mine. I'm like, shut up. Not really. Don't do that. Please don't call CPS on me. I'm just kidding. I just daydream about it. That's what I told Stinky today, because he kept asking me for stuff, and I was like, we are not here for you. And I was like, and it is too close to Christmas to be buying anything. And then he like asked him one more time. I was like, I'm going to chop you right in the neck if you don't stop. And he was like, he always goes, you won't. And so now I did. I started punching him in the arm. I was like, oh, see, I will hit you.
That's so funny. Because Eli and I went last week because I was trying to finish up shopping for Matt. And when we're there, he's like, Mom, you want to buy me this? Mom, can I get this? And I'm like, no.
He's an adult.
It's almost Christmas time. You're 19 years old. Buy it for your damn self.
Right.
But I did buy him one thing, and I was like, okay, it's Christmas present, so you can't have it till Christmas.
Yes. Well, I took him with me to buy like stocking stuffers, and I was like, listen, I'm going to leave it up to you. I can either go get yours separately, or if you want to pick out your own, that's fine. And then he was like, oh, I'll pick out my own. And I was like, okay. we get to Target and he was like, can I get Starbucks? And I said, sure, but that's going to take out of the funds of your stocking stuffer. And he goes, that's fine. Okay. So I just bought myself some too and was like,
hey, win-win.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
but
I just
sorry,
watched this.
Not to keep going, but we got a Missouri listener.
Ooh,
Missouri.
shout out.
Missouri.
We love
We used to hang
Missouri.
out there all the time.
Yes, and that's where our Silver Dollar City is, right?
Yep.
Because we went to that live show that I was telling you about, and they had told a story about Missouri, and they were like going on, and he was trying to make a joke about Silver Dollar City, and he said something about it, and the whole crowd starts screaming, and he goes, wait, who's all been to Silver Dollar City? And almost everybody raises their hand. I'm like, you're in Texas. Everybody's been to Silver Dollar City. And
I didn't realize it was that big of a thing.
Yeah. We have been so
when we were
many
going,
times.
I didn't realize that it was that big of a thing. But apparently it's like a destination thing. It's like Six Flags. Like that's why people go to Arlington. Yeah.
But it's got so we went to Branson like, I don't know, a couple spring breaks ago. So in March and it wasn't open. So it's only open. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Like spring really break, hello.
Exactly.
So it's like open all summer and then it closes for a little bit and then it opens up again, like I guess, I don't know, maybe like after Halloween, closer to the holidays. Like,
that's
I don't need to take a break. Like that's dumb.
You don't need to take a break.
No.
Play your violin on stage for lots of people every night.
Thank you.
We used to go to those constantly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mimo would take us to those all the time. We loved time.
Wasn't there a zoo there too that's like totally bomb?
I don't remember if it was there.
I remember going to a zoo and I don't remember where we were because we went to like Aunt Nancy's friend's house. And we went to the zoo that had a polar bear and stuff. I was really little, so I only really remember bits and pieces of it.
I think that was not Branson, but I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that was Branson. I think
that was the time I almost died eating a pixie stick.
I don't remember that.
You know those like gigantic pixie sticks?
Yes.
So we were walking through this like festival and I had just gotten it and I opened it and like tilted my head back and I like inhaled apparently. And I was like choking and I was trying to follow everyone. I was like, it was horrible. It was so bad. I remember that. I still remember
reminded me because we went to Dave & Buster's this weekend and Stinky got one of those giant pixie sticks. Y'all, most embarrassing thing happened to me. I totally blocked it out of my memory until you said pixie stick and then it traumatized me all over again.
You're welcome.
We were just walking around and whatever, and Richard had went to the bathroom and the big boys were off playing games. And so it was me and Garrett and Madeline. And we were just going through and Richard comes back over to us and then I get off. I was sitting on a motorcycle with Madeline. I get off and Richard's like, oh my God, your pants are ripped. And I was like, what? And he's like, on your butt, your pants are ripped. And I was like, is it like really bad? And he's like, yeah, it's ripped. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, here, just, I'll walk behind you. And I was like, get me to the seat now. And so I was like walking, and you know, the only seats they had there are at the restaurant. So I'm like walking to like the restaurant part. And I go and sit down and I was like, go out to the car. Did you bring your sweatshirt? And he was like, yeah, I brought it. And I was like, go get your sweatshirt and I'll just tie it around my waist. And he was like, okay. So him and Garrett went to go and me and Madeline are just sitting there. And this lady walks up and she's like, can I help you? Kind of like annoyed. Like obviously if you just kind of like sit in the restaurant, she's going to be like, hello. And I was like, oh my God, let me tell you what happened. I told her what happened. She goes, it is okay. Just chill here. And I was like, thank you. and then Richard gets back and he had just went, because we were in the mall. So he had just went to go buy me another pair of jeans. And then he comes back and I was like, we have to go upstairs. Cause you know, Dave & Buster's, the games and everything are downstairs. And you have to go upstairs. And I was like, what are we going to do? I have to walk upstairs. Like, this is going to be so bad. And I'm still thinking that it's not that bad. I'm thinking maybe just like a little rip, like right on my butt or whatever, where it would be like weird. But like, no, I get into the bathroom and look, and it is like this, like a foot long rip. Like my whole butt was out. I was like, Richard,
oh my God,
this is the
amazing.
worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire. I mean, that's not true, but I am crying.
Oh no.
And so then when we got back in the car, Richard turned on that "Rip My Pants" song by SpongeBob. It's like, oh my God,
that's amazing.
Oh,
made me want to cry.
I was trying to think if that's happened. It's definitely happened to me before, but it's never been.
Same, but I don't think like in public.
Well, I was also that crusty punk kid that like my jeans had holes and shit in them anyways. So,
yeah.
It wasn't anything new.
It's just what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Well, all of Dave & Buster's has seen some of Storm's butt.
Hey,
you're welcome.
Give them a show.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's extra.
Well, I was like, maybe it was getting on and off the motorcycle and nobody saw it. Because I'm like, screw everybody that was walking behind me and noticed and didn't come tell me, because that's rude.
Oh, yeah. Are you normally that person, though? Do you normally say something to somebody if they...
I don't know that I've ever been in that situation where something like that has happened.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. And there's a rule. If someone can't change it within like 10 seconds or something, then you don't mention it. But I do it all the time. Like if someone has something in their hair or something like that, like I'm at bars and stuff all the time. And I've scared lots of people like walking up to them. Like I'm trying to help you out here. But like this big tattooed dude is walking up to you at a bar. Like sometimes it's a little scary.
They're like, how do we politely tell him no?
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, there was one girl in there's a bar in our parking lot where the shop is, and I tattooed her before, and she was super drunk when I walked in there, and I was like, I think I tattooed her, and I walked up to her, and she was talking to somebody, and she keeps like looking at me, and then she'll like look away, and she was like, did you need something? And I was like, I just wanted to see how the tattoo that I did on you healed. And she goes, oh my God, I'm sorry. And she shows me, and I was like, did you not remember me or what? But I do it all the time too for clients.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she was drinking and in a dark bar and was like,
right,
what is this freako man doing staring
exactly.
at?
Yeah. I was like, honey, I'm on the complete opposite team. I just want to see the artwork. That's when you just go up there and go,
hey, sweetie, what you doing?
Yeah. It's bad.
I totally just thought something. This is way off subject. Did you guys see the new movie with Emma Stone?
No.
I feel like someone was talking about that the other day.
For the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. But apparently it's like she kills herself and her dad brings her back to life. It's like a Frankenstein type thing.
Oh,
amazing. I love it.
I have not heard of this at all.
I think it comes out, so I want to say it was in like certain theaters last week, and then it comes out everywhere, I think like the 21st or something.
That sounds dope.
That sounds
I saw it on TikTok. I can't remember.
And I just
but
love
I was
Emma
like,
Stone.
Oh my God, yeah.
I have a big fat crush on her. Yeah.
So
Rainy,
apparently she's like amazing.
I feel like I saw something of
I have not even seen anything about it. That's awesome. Yeah.
Rainy just signed into her Hulu at the shop, so I've been going crazy because I don't have Hulu. And there's a movie called Paperboy. Have you guys heard of this?
Heard of it, haven't seen it.
It's got Matthew McConaughey, Nicole Kidman, Zac Efron, Macy Gray. Like, it's amazing. And I was watching the whole thing, and I was watching it up at the shop, and someone walked in at a specific scene, and I was like, okay, I can't watch this up here. Like, I have to wait until I get home.
Yeah.
If anyone has not seen that movie, watch it. You will never look at any of those actors the same way ever again. It's
really
amazing. Yeah. And then Brawl on Cell Block 99. It's Vince Vaughn.
I love him.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But like when you think Vince Vaughn, you think like dad comedy. No, this is not even close to that. It's real fucked up. And then there's a documentary about the McCamey Manor that I watched today, and it just made me so mad. Have you?
I want to watch it.
Do you guys know what the McCamey Manor is?
That's the one with the haunted house, but it's like
it's called immersive horror. Mm-hmm. So basically, like this guy in particular, he's basically just torturing you for fun. Like there's waterboarding and like all kinds of stuff, and it's other people that are doing immersive horror basically calling him out for like giving a bad name to it. So it's very, very interesting. It's fascinating.
I have to watch that. Yeah, I would never. I would never.
No, I would never.
No. Like there was other ones that I was watching, like the immersive horror, and I was like, that one actually looks like it would be doable. But the ones that he's doing, it's like he does it because he thinks it's fun type thing.
Like, so like he's a
creepy.
Yeah.
He's a sociopath. Yeah. Basically. It's so wild. So wild. Yeah. I would highly suggest watching it. Monster or something. I can't remember.
I'll have to watch that, yeah.
It was so good, but it made me so mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
It's cold in my house.
Same.
It's a whole 41 degrees outside. I know everybody that's in the northern states like, oh yeah, it's like go outside and play volleyball weather.
Yeah. No, this is
I'm like, if I step foot outside, I'm gonna be like the kid from what's that movie where he's like, can't
Christmas
walk.
Story.
Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to warn our Cuban artist about Texas winters, and he was like, "It's Texas, like it's not going to be that bad." I was like, "Honey, just wait, just wait."
Yeah,
it's supposed to be pretty bad, apparently. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we will see.
I might have to go stay at Deshae's house again.
Yeah, for real.
All right, y'all want to hear a story?
Oh God,
why is it always her?
It is.
I can hear y'all still.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, when you said
17,
all right,
15.
It stopped. Yeah.
All right.
Just a second ago, it was the two of you. So when that happens, I just kind of sit here and like, okay, until it comes back.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We all need better Wi-Fi, apparently. I don't know what the heck is going on.
It didn't do this previously. I don't know. No. So if we look like we don't know what the hell's going on, it's because somebody froze. Okay.
We're all just like
really confused.
Okay, so just don't ask us a lot of questions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Listen, what I said
I'm really
was,
good at.
Do y'all want to hear a story?
See.
Okay.
No, maybe not tonight.
You have to go get dog food. We better hurry up. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Everyone calm down.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
You don't have to yell.
Okay, Garrett, calm down. Gosh.
Okay. So have some on paper and I have some on my phone. I got most of this from Wikipedia.
It's always a really great option.
It really is because... Okay. Can we focus?
Just tell us a story.
Bitch.
Oh,
this is not a funny time. The story about the
everyone, serious face.
Wait.
Okay. This is. I'm gonna tell you about Christa Pike. You may know who that is.
I feel like I know this. I know that name sounds familiar, but I won't know anything until you start talking.
Maybe you heard it on another podcast, possibly. Anyways, she was born in 1976 in West Virginia. Her parents were Carissa and Emil, and they had I guess not typical, but for, your typical bad people, a really bad relationship. Really just not good. Her mother ended up cheating on her dad, so they divorced for a year.
A year? Okay.
Hold on. You guys are frozen.
Well, we can hear you if you want to just keep going.
Okay. Y'all were frozen.
Okay. Well, we can hear you, so.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. All right.
Welcome to our podcast.
Okay, so they got her mom cheated. They got divorced for a year. Then they got remarried for 2 more years because her mom had tried to kill herself. So I'm not frozen. I'm just reading. After that. So unfortunately, her parents were also really on top of just having a shitty relationship. They were really negligent with her. One of her aunts had noted that as a baby, she would be frequently crawling around through piles of dog stool all over the house.
Oh my gosh, I hate it.
As a toddler, Christa had she had seizures every now and then, and like her mother wasn't really present, neither was her father, so other family members were taking care of her. So when her mother was told that she had had a seizure her first time, she was like, whatever. She didn't come to her, nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Christa's paternal grandmother, she was the main one that would frequently take care of her. And Christa actually, she believed that her grandmother was the only one that actually ever really loved her.
Oh my gosh, that is horrible.
I know, it's horrible. Her grandmother ended up dying in 1988 when Christa was 12. After that, she made her first suicide attempt, and she didn't have any kind of support from her family, like none at all. Her grandmother was gone. She tried to kill herself. She didn't have anybody. Her living situation never got really any better. At one point, she ended up living with her dad and his new family. He had other kids. And she lived with her mother again for a little bit. One of her mother's boyfriends punched her straight in the face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And no charges were filed at all.
Wow.
A child.
A child. One of her half sisters, so this is when she was living with her dad. She claimed that she was molested by Christa. So her dad ended up kicking her out. She said that she herself had also been molested a few times. However, her family and friends didn't believe her because she was a pathological liar. So she's telling them this, and they're saying they don't believe her because she lies about all kinds of stuff. So that's just a bunch of trauma within itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 10th grade, she was sent to a juvenile facility for a year. And during that time, she became really interested in the Job Corps. So for anyone who doesn't know, that is a government program, and it helps low-income kids by offering vocational training and career skills.
Mm-hmm.
Fall of 1994, she was in the Job Corps in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that center is actually closed now, but that's the one that she was in. And she started dating a man named, I think it's Tadaryl Ship. And they start dating, and they both become really interested in devil worship and the occult.
As you do.
Yep.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
19-year-old Colleen Slemmer was one of Christa's classmates in the Job Corps. Christa was really jealous of her, and she thought that she was trying to steal her boyfriend from her. And so Colleen and her friends are like, no, you're crazy. That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
Shadala Peterson, she was 18. She was a friend of Christa's. So they got together. They tell Colleen that they want to squash it. They want everything to be fine. They want to make peace, whatever. And they do that by offering her marijuana. They're like, hey, let's go over here in these woods and we'll get you high. So that's what happens. Okay.
I'm sure it's exactly what's going to happen.
Right. So they go off into the woods they're right off campus. Krista's boyfriend goes with them as well. So to Daryl, I think that's how you say it. He's with them as well. They get into the woods, and Shadala, she keeps watch while to Daryl and Krista for 30 minutes. They were taunting Colleen. They were beating her and stabbing her.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That goes way beyond just like being mad at somebody. Like
Yes.
for 30 minutes, that is
Yeah.
a deep psychological issue.
And the fact
Absolutely.
that 2 other people are just like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea.
Right.
They're like, I'll keep and one of them, I mean, not, gendering here, but I mean, one of the guy was hitting her. He was, like, so even with all that, they also carved a pentagram in her chest. So what, ultimately, they killed her. What ended up killing Colleen, Krista took a large chunk of asphalt. She smashed her skull, and that's what killed her. Now, did y'all hear that?
No.
Okay, you didn't.
What ended up killing her?
What ended up killing her was Krista took a large chunk of asphalt and hit her in the skull with it.
Oh, stop.
I've definitely heard this story.
Now, she kept a piece of the skull. Okay. So what she does, Krista starts showing off the piece of the skull around at school.
What? How dumb do you have to be?
So within the next 36 hours, all 3 of them were arrested. At the school, they have a logbook that you have to, whenever you leave the school or you go outside, whatever it is, you have to log out and log back in. So 4 of them had logged out that day, and only 3 of them logged back in. The detectives found the piece of the skull in Krista's pocket.
So stupid. God.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I mean, I guess good that she was stupid.
But,
yeah.
Sorry, my throat's being weird. They're searching the rooms, and they found the satanic Bible to Daryl's room. So they found a copy of that. Krista ended up confessing to torturing and killing Colleen, but she said that it was an accident and they only meant to scare her, and that it ended up getting out of hand.
What?
That's why
you don't accidentally stab somebody for 30 minutes.
And then beat them in the head with asphalt. It doesn't.
No. And an accident, you keep a piece of her skull. Like,
exactly.
Let me just
gloat to other people about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
So March 22nd, 1996, after only a few hours of deliberation, Krista was found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. So March 30th, 1996, she was sentenced to death by electrocution for the murder, and then 25 years in prison for the conspiracy to commit murder charge. Her boyfriend, to Daryl, got a life sentence with the possibility of parole and 25 years.
Interesting.
Why he gets possibility of parole, I don't know. Shadala, so the friend that was keeping watch, she ended up becoming an informant and got probation for pleading guilty to being an accessory after the fact.
What?
I hate it.
Mm-hmm. That's horrific.
Oh my God, I feel like I need to cough. Anyways.
She had to have known that they were going to do something. She had to have.
Unless she was threatened, she had to have known.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was either or she just wasn't told the whole story and didn't realize how far they were.
Yeah. Or maybe she didn't know. Maybe she wasn't around.
Maybe, but also,
she, she had to have been screaming.
Yeah.
Right. And she's really good friends with this girl. So they probably have talked about it before.
For sure. I mean, it was, they knew what was going to go down when they went there, when they went in the woods. Dr. Ingham, he was the psychiatrist who testified at her trial. He described Christa as, he said, extremely bright young woman. She had an IQ score of 1. He said that ultimately she suffers from borderline personality disorder. So I think then that's typical. Most of it, they're extremely smart.
Yeah.
And so sad.
Well, I mean, she was kind of stupid. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Carrying a skull around in your pocket.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes.
The rules don't apply.
Yeah.
Apparently. Harold Underwood Jr., he was one of the police officers. He worked the crime scene. He testified at Christa's trial. And he said that she came to the crime scene with a group of girls. So he's investigating, he's doing their thing, they have it roped off. She comes with a group of girls to the crime scene, and she asks him why the area had been marked off and if they had identified the victim. She also asked whether or not the police had any suspects. And
that
he
is
said
so suspicious, girl.
Right.
Right? Like, how dumb do you have to be?
He also said that none of the other girls that she was with said a word. They didn't say anything. And that he said she appeared really amused about the situation, and she was just like moving around, giggling. Very odd. So, in a taped confession, Christa told police, quote, she wouldn't shut up. She kept talking and talking. She would start talking again, and I would say, shut up. I didn't want to hear her talking.
Yeah, no. It sounds like she's like showing off to her friends now.
Yeah.
Exactly what she's doing.
And she's also trying to get information. Like, a lot of serial killers will return to the scene of the crime. Like, it's not uncommon. But actually speaking to the police and like, you're putting your face out there. Like, they're gonna remember you.
I guess she didn't listen to too many true crime podcasts to know that.
Probably not.
You can only be so smart.
That. Yeah, I mean.
So after the guilty verdict was given, Christa launched, canceled, and relaunched appeals on her conviction through the Tennessee state courts. This went on for, we're all the way into like 2019, 2018, and she kept doing this. So she has a death sentence, so things are getting delayed. All of her appeals obviously got denied. And then August 24th, so we're back in 2001, she had assistance from another inmate. She attacked and attempted to kill fellow inmate Patricia Jones with a shoelace. She almost did it. She almost choked her to death. She was convicted of first-degree murder on August 12th, 2004. And it says, although it is the position of the Tennessee Department of Corrections so the other inmate, they said supposedly she assisted, but they don't have any proof, so nothing happened to her.
That is so scary. Could you imagine being in prison and someone attacks you, and then, like, what do you do? You can't,
Nothing.
You're stuck in there with them.
Unfortunately, it happens so often, especially I hear a lot too, like, depending on what you're in there for, like, people will kill you, like, especially like pedophiles, and they will, they have no mercy for people who hurt kids.
No.
So March 2012, March 20, what did I just say? March 2012. Apparently.
Okay.
Did I just have a stroke? It was made knowledge that Christa had escape plans.
Oh my God. Here we go. What a freaking idiot.
So, and apparently this involved one of the correction officers, Justin Heflin, and there was a man from New Jersey. His name was Donald. He was a personal trainer. He was in his early 30s. He had somehow gotten into letter writing with her. And so around beginning of 2011, by July of that year, the Donald, the man from New Jersey, he was making the trip from Flemington, New Jersey to Nashville to see Christa in person on visiting days about twice a month. Eventually they start talking about a plan for her to escape, and they get the help of the corrections officer, who agreed to help them in return for like cash and gifts.
Gifts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's some chocolate. Can you help me break out the
Yes.
jail?
But also I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
So apparently, somehow it got out that they were going to attempt this.
She talks a lot.
Yeah, she does.
Well, like, don't they read their mail? Aren't their phone calls recorded? Like, there's no way you could have talked about that without them knowing.
True.
Unless she had a lot of inside help, which
true.
You know,
she sounded like she did.
So March 2012, Donald, he was arrested and he was charged with bribery and conspiracy to commit escape. The corrections officer, he was arrested and charged with bribery and official misconduct and conspiracy to commit escape. Christa wasn't charged.
Of course not, because why would she be? Oh, Lord.
So May 31st, 2012, Donald was sentenced to 7 years, and he had to serve that in Tennessee. And Heflin, the corrections officer, he cooperated with authorities, and he didn't serve any prison time, but he did lose his job.
Yeah. He's never going to be able to find a job anywhere.
Oh,
could you imagine being that guy that lived in New Jersey and then had to spend summers in Tennessee?
Oh my God.
In prison?
Yeah.
Like, just going to visit there alone from there, you'd be like, God damn,
yeah.
It's hot. And then being in prison where, you know, they just don't care.
Yeah.
No.
So now you have to live there for 7 years. Yeah.
So bad.
Okay. So August 27th, 2020, Tennessee Attorney General's office requested the Tennessee Supreme Court to finally set an execution date for Christa. But due to COVID and various other factors in Tennessee, her attorneys were granted extensions, allowing them more and more time to argue why she shouldn't be executed. And June 7th, 2021, her attorneys filed a motion to oppose the execution date again. The court is still expected to decide on whether or not they're going to execute her. Now,
okay.
If they do execute her, she will be the first woman to be executed in Tennessee in about 200 years.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, well, I guess she did try to kill somebody else. Never mind. I was like, at this point, because she, whatever. But then I was like, wait, she did try to kill somebody else. Right. And she did try to escape prison.
Yeah.
But the death penalty is weird for me.
I have weird feelings about it.
Same.
Mixed feelings about it.
Especially because I'm so, like, empathetic for when they were kids. So, like, that, it tells a lot to me, and I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not going to go off on the rant, but yeah.
It's so sad. It's so sad, because it feels like everyone we've done, their childhoods are just trash. They're horrible.
Yeah. Horrible. And that's why I'm like, at this point, it should be, I mean, unless, there's a lot where the parents are already dead, but I'm like, if a person gets arrested for murder, their parents should also be arrested for murder or whatever, because they were treated like they raised a murder. I know sometimes it literally is just like a brain thing, and it, you know, it's not the parents' fault, but 99% of the time, it's a parent's fault.
And it sounds like hers was kind of like, it was the mental disorder kind of came on later in life.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like for her, at least. So, like, it sounds like she was kind of not made this way, but kind of made this way. Like, not to kill
people. Like, she had her grandma until she was 12. And then she was passed around from house to house. And then
she was definitely made this way by other people.
And being a pathological liar, not that that's like assigned to murdering somebody, but like that's
sometimes it's a defense mechanism.
Exactly. From trauma.
But it's just the fact that she had like no remorse. She's just out there chilling
about it.
Just chilling at the crime scene. Had a piece of her skull. There was one quote too from I don't remember what it was, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm eating breakfast with a piece of skull or something like that." It's fucking crazy. Like,
she's trying to get people's attention. She's
starving for attention.
Like how the lying comes across. That's what pathological liars do. They want the attention.
Which I'm like, that's what she always wanted. Like, her parents had nothing to do with her. She again was being tossed from house to house.
And I can only imagine her dad had a whole other family.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck does she feel about that?
Yeah. And I would be bitter as hell towards those other kids.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, you know, and not that they did anything wrong, but just the fact of like, why does my dad love you and not me? Kind of thing.
Yeah. And she tells them that she was molested and all this stuff, and they don't believe her because she's a liar. It's like,
why would you, as something like that, why would you not just look into it at least?
Right.
Or like, you know, if it was one thing that was like, somebody took my lunch money, and you're like, oh, okay, like, I'm sorry. But that is not something you just go, you're such a liar.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm getting antsy. Oh my
I know.
I know. It's disgusting. I
feel bad that I feel sorry for her.
It's like I feel sorry for little 12-year-old her.
Yeah.
I think like
I don't feel sorry for adult her.
No.
Yeah.
After that, you still have a conscience. You still know right from wrong.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. That's so wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, that was short, but I heard that, and she's crazy. I was like, we have to tell that because that's just.
That is a really good story.
It's an insane story.
And she'll make history if she is actually executed. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm like 200 years ago. What date was that? Because I'm like.
It was today, 200 years ago.
Shut up.
You're the accountant, Storm. Do the math.
1823.
Was it a witch?
Right? Exactly.
I mean, that's literally the first thing that popped in my head. And then I was like, what was 200 years ago? Because I didn't want to be like 200. Because, you know, when people are like 20 years ago and I'm like, oh, like the 90s? And they're like, no, you know. So I'm like, I didn't want to be like 200 years ago. And it'd be like, oh, the 1970s? And we'd be like, wait.
20 years ago was the 80s. And no one can tell me any different.
Oh
I'm 38 and I was born in 85. So
Rainey fucked with my head the other day. She told me that I'm older than Google.
Yes.
I'm 34 years old. I'm older than Google.
We have, I feel like our age group, like end of 80s to like beginning 90s, because it's like everything went nuts. Like you were raised in that like didn't have a computer really, to like having dial-up, to having like a weird kind of phone, to have, you know, like everything, and then it just like blew up.
Yeah.
It's that weird
millennials,
like right when like your brain is what's the word I'm looking for?
Like developing.
Like it's just crazy. I feel like it like messes with your head.
Yeah, I see all these TikToks about like these young kids, and they're talking about millennials and stuff, and I want to be mad, but it's all true.
Yeah.
I can't be mad. it's too true.
The only thing that I will argue is when people talk about how why did I have it in my head? I have the worst mom brain in the entire world.
I feel that.
Where you like expect stuff.
Entitlement or like
she froze right when she said
it. It's like,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, like, you expect things to happen.
Storm, I can hear you. Sage froze. Entitlement.
Entitlement.
There you go. There you
people say that millennials have the biggest entitlement. I was literally thinking about this in the shower today. This is so weird that this like happened. Working customer service, not that I do anymore, but working customer service, I can tell you the worst entitled people are ages like 45 up.
That's
because
true.
they expect you to do what they want you to do. They expect you to work it around where they have their way. Like they are the worst.
So my theory with that is that like there was a time where the customer was always right. And it's not like that anymore anywhere. So it was like a culture shock type thing, I guess. They're used to being treated a certain way in stores, and now they're not.
So. Yeah.
Right. Because people actually stuck up for themselves and they push back a little bit. And it's like,
exactly.
Being business owners, you do kind of want to be careful with that, though. Because, I mean, you could have someone that's really, really shitty, but again, they're your customer. They're paying you for service or whatever it is.
Well, there's a difference between doing the service you're being paid for and screwing yourself over to make them happy.
Yes.
Yeah. For sure. Oh yeah. There's always that fine line.
Anyway, so that's the one thing that like, you know, like millennials, I'll just like listen to and be like, yeah, I know, whatever. But that one always gets under my skin because I'm like, no, it's the old people.
It is. Times are changing, Jeffrey.
They are a changing.
I was thinking about that like while I was when I was working at Hot Topic. I was like, I can say things now that like 10 years ago I never would have been able to. And it was so wild to me. Yeah, you don't realize it until you're like in it. But now, like when I go to like Walmart and Target and stuff like that, it's different. It's like the employee, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just kind of like feeding into that everyone's in their own kind of bubble type thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
But, fucking world.
Oh, you know,
crazy.
So great right now. I just can't even deal.
It makes me feel so.
I also love the well, they'll ask like the millennials, you know, like how do you take a picture? How do you like using your hand? Like how do you talk on the phone? And how do you do this? And then they ask like the Gen Z, and they're like, how do you talk on the phone? How do you take a picture? How do you do? It cracks me up.
It's ridiculous. And then the ones where like the mom gives the kid like a Walkman or something, and they look like cavemen trying to figure it out.
Yes, like the kids with the rotary phone.
Like, what is that? Like, I don't
know how to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then again, like when I was a kid, if someone would have handed me an 8-track, I don't know that I would have been able to like figure it out. I mean, eventually.
No.
But
y'all, listen. So I have a couple like almost 50 to 50-year-olds that I work with. They have no clue what a Tamagotchi is.
What?
No clue. They had no idea what a Tamagotchi was. And I was like, shut up. You don't know what a Tamagotchi is?
Dude.
And then one of them knew because her kids are our age. So she was like, okay, I know what they are because my kids played with them.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you not know what a Tamagotchi is? And they were like, well, we know what like Furbies are. And I'm like, but you don't know what a Tamagotchi is? That was like the coolest thing ever. Yes.
We got those for Christmas one year. And then we realized that our cousins had them as well. And we would like babysit each other's and like all kinds of shit. And then we all spent, I think me and Storm did at least, we spent all of our Christmas money on more Tamagotchi. So we each had like 4 or 5 of them.
They were like the coolest, like even now, because we were talking about them, me and one of the other girls who's like almost exactly my age. And I was like, oh, she goes, no, they're back. Like, because when our doctors had bought them for her kids for Christmas. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I want to buy them just to have one. And I was like, but then I'm going to have it. I'm like going to be like this at work. Like, sorry, I'm just feeding my Tamagotchi. Leave me alone.
Like in the middle of a tattoo, be like, hold on, he's hungry. Oh my God.
I bought one for Deegan last year.
I remember, are they still like, I'm sure they can't hold the attention of kids these days.
No, he was like, what is this? I'm over. And I was like trying to show it to him and he was not interested at all.
Well, because it does take a while because you have to like hatch them and then you got to feed them. Yeah. It's not like instant like apps are. So
I remember that I left one at Mima's house and she mailed it to me and it was still on and it was still alive. And
for some reason, I feel like I vaguely remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
We had just moved to Texas, and we went and visited her during the summer, and I left it there. One of like the 6 that I had. And
and you were like, no, Billy Bob!
Exactly, yeah. That was my favorite one. I remember, I don't know why I remember
when
this.
They died, because it was the X's on their eyes.
Yeah.
Horrible.
My favorite one, it was the gray glittery one. It was gray, like clear plastic, and it was glittery. And like the little monster was the one that I wanted. We had like the stuffed animals and all kinds of shit too. Tamagotchi was huge.
They were like the shit.
I feel like our generation had like the coolest toys growing up.
Oh, I agree.
Yes.
I've seen those like all kinds of stuff, like the old like I don't know what it was. It was like McDonald's toys or like make your own food type things, not the Easy Bake Oven, but the other stuff. And I'm like, I want to get that for the kids now. Like those are cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're considered vintage.
Which is so wild to me.
Because we're old.
But anything over 25 years is considered vintage. That's when it can be called vintage. It's 25 years.
So we're all vintage.
We're all vintage. Yeah. I'm going to start telling people that. Like, when Stinky's like, your old mom, I'm going to be like, no, I'm vintage.
So, Rainey gave me a bunch of clothes, and there are some Lee jeans in there. And I told somebody about it, and I was like, yeah, she gave me these vintage Lee jeans. And she was like, vintage? Really? And I was like, they're older than 25 years old. Like, yes, they're vintage.
They're vintage.
They're vintage.
Apparently, Lee is coming. That's so wild. Yeah. Like how everything's so cyclical to me.
Well, and crazy. You remember how Champion used to be like the cheap Walmart
brand?
You used to get made fun of for it.
Yes, and now it's like totally popular and stupid expensive. And guess what I bought Garrett at Walmart? A Ralph Lauren sweatshirt.
Yeah, they have polo.
I was like, shut up.
Why is
this at Walmart?
They also apparently online have like Michael Kors purses and shit.
Yes,
like they
have, on Walmart. Yes.
Yeah, it's so wild to me.
It's weird.
Crazy pants.
I don't get it. We sound like old people.
Yes,
we do. Because people are probably tired of hearing us talk about this stuff now. I know.
It's just Walmart. Like it's Reebok too, like the same thing. Like. It's so wild.
Because it was like you would get made fun of wearing Walmart clothes. Like if you were
like New Balance, which is like
New Balance,
the old man shoe.
Yeah. Totally dope.
They're awesome, apparently.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, what are you gonna go mow the lawn? Like, please take those off.
Right. I know.
Take them off right now.
That's Eli wears them. That's like all he wears. They're like really cool, apparently.
The mall walkers. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, the mall, yes.
And then
I remember that too.
we went to a high school or a junior high that had 2 levels. And after school, if you were there late enough, you'd get to see the walking group go around the top of the.
Stop it.
We used to make fun of them so much, but now I'm like, I kind of need to go walking.
Yeah, get your steps in.
Yes. If not, my hips hurt. Like, listen.
Oh my God, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
For real.
Speak for yourself.
Oh.
I'm only just newly vintage.
Newly vintage. Oh my God.
Oh God.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Jeez. Well, after all of that, Storm,
you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is us.
Yes.
Where can they find more of our ramblings?
We are on Facebook, Three Siblings Walk Into a Bar. We are on Instagram at 3Swib Podcast. We are on YouTube. Woo! YouTubes.
Yay!
So go watch us. You can see our beautiful faces and our beautiful noses and chins. And
and chins.
And
if you think they're big, no,
multiple chins.
Everyone touch chins. Yeah. Chins unite. God, we are so embarrassing.
Oh
okay, that was old of me. Okay. I'm gonna cry. Stop it. Okay. Please rate and review. It is really super helpful for us. Just make sure you don't say anything about our chins because it'll make me cry.
Exactly.
Please.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And yeah.
All right. Well, that's what happens when 3 siblings walk into a bar.